Hello everyone, welcome back to Chasing Narrative with AJ, and today I'm going to talk about the new changes that the Army implemented when it comes to the medical process. So a lot of times you'll have somebody who might want to join the Army and they have like a medical issue. They might have asthma, they might have a heart disease, they might have diabetes, and we will send a waiver up to see if that person can join or not. Now they have a system that will be able to tell that applicant whether they could join or not as soon as possible. So normally, like for example, if I had somebody that wanted to join, they have asthma, like they would have to do a pulmonary function test. They would have to make sure that they can breathe properly. They cannot have an inhaler. There's a lot of things that they will have to do in order to show that they could join the Army. Now, those things are going to be known from the beginning of time. And it's not going to go through different channels to see, okay, this guy's been taking 2 months to approve this waiver or to disapprove this waiver. Now, the applicant is going to know from the beginning if they could join or not. That's not only going to help the applicant, but more important, it's going to help the recruiter, because I've seen a lot of recruiters that would spend numerous hours working with an applicant that had like certain medical conditions. But at the end of the day, their waiver got disapproved. So now, that's going to help recruiters out so much, and it also going to help the applicant out as well, because now the applicant don't have to sit around and wait 2-3 months to find out if their medical waiver is going to get approved. As you can see, it says the United States is tightening its entry standards by shifting more than 24 medical disqualifications to the early stages of the recruitment process. I already explained how this is going to benefit not only the applicant but the recruiter as well. So, U.S. MEPS announced this week that it will pre-screen prospective recruits for 28 medical conditions that have been deemed highly unlikely to receive enlistment waivers. The change does not alter the current eligibility standards so much as it recalibrates the timing of the judging. So still, Army has a standard whether they're going to allow you in or not. It's just that it's going to shorten the time dramatically so that the applicant will know within the first, I'm thinking 2-3 weeks, whether they're able to join or not, maybe even sooner. And again, the recruiter is going to benefit because now that person knows, okay, I can no longer work with this person because they've been disqualified earlier in the process compared to waiting 3-4 months down the line. And it also says that determinations that once emerged later in the process will now be flagged at the very first point of contact. This is extremely important, and it's very important to the applicant as well, because a lot of people sometimes get in their head like, oh, it's very easy to join the military until they take the ASVAB test and they realize how hard the ASVAB test is. Or they might have an underlying issue, medical issue that they never knew anything about, and now they might not be able to join because of that medical issue. But they waited 3-4 years to make their decision about joining, and now they're at the point that they can't join the military and they got to find something else to do. I've seen people that I had to talk to that were in tears because this was like their last resort. So a lot of people think, oh, well, I can, do this job for a little bit, or I can just sit on my ass for a little bit and the military is going to always be there. The military is not going to always be there. And as you can see, we already have enough people to the point that they're disqualifying people from the beginning. I remember there were times that if you had like certain medical issues, they will approve it because we need people in service. It's a whole different type of beast now, especially with like the Army. So Army Colonel Megan McKinnon, the U.S. MEPS command surgeon, said in a statement, instead of doing complete processing and then handing it to the waiver authority, we created a trigger on the front end for these specific conditions that requires additional service sign-off, because all services agree that they are unlikely to be waived on the back end. Meaning that when it goes to the waiver department, now they'll be able to see if any service is going to take you. So it's not going to be one of those things, hey, you can't join the Army and then you could turn around and join the Marines. No, at the waiver process, now they're saying if all service agree that you're unlikely to be waived at the back end, meaning that once you're disapproved from the Army, that's it. That's essentially what it's saying. Another thing that I took out of this too as well is the waiver department, they're very busy. Like I'm telling you, I've had people that needed a med waiver for maybe like a scar or something. And that process would take like a month for that person to join because they're so beat up. So I think the Army is alleviating all those waivers going up, and it's taking a long time for them to get approved. So that's why they come up with this system, which I think is genius. So some of the conditions that if you already have, don't even worry about going to the recruiting station. They talk about eczema. If you require oral or injectable medications within the last 12 months, don't even go to the recruiting station. If you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, don't even worry about going to the recruiting station. If you have back issues like a cervical spinal fusion, which that's what I have, don't even worry about going to the recruiting station. If you have a current knee ligament rupture or repair within the past 12 months, don't even go to the recruiting station. You will have to wait after 12 months. If you have a stress fractures in any site within the past 6 months, don't even worry about going to the recruiting station. So this is very important because now you guys know, okay, if I have these conditions and I don't, either they're permanent disqualifying, or if I haven't met the requirements of 12 months, then that's it. I cannot join the Army. So that said, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth also issued a memo in March directing a comprehensive review of military standards, including those pertaining to physical fitness, body composition, and grooming across all branches. The president said on Wednesday, "I can say very confidently at this moment we had the highest recruitment, the most successful recruitment for the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, all of it. We have lines of people waiting to get in. We're taking people based on their fitness and their quality," he added. This is very important, guys. So what most people don't realize, when I was a recruiter, especially like the last 3 years, we were lowering the scores on the ASVAB test so people could join. That's how bad we were hurting. I remember seeing people joining with a score of 16 to 21. Yes, they will have to take the ASVAB test at basic training, but think about it, right? The minimum score is 31. We were allowing people to score 16 and 21, they would still join. We were allowing people that were overweight to join, and they would just lose the weight at basic training. To me, it was ridiculous. I didn't like the fact that we were doing that because to me, it's quality over quantity. But now they're going back to that. And I'm telling you, if you're one of those people that are looking to join the military and you're like, hey, I don't know if I should do it right now, the time is now. Because as you guys can see, when it comes to the medical department, at least of the Army, they're not playing around. They're gonna let you know as soon as possible whether you could join or not, and then therefore you could beat feet and see what other career is gonna be out there for you. So I wanted to touch bases on this topic. My next video, I'm gonna go over whether I think you should join or not with everything going on in Iran, but I definitely wanted to touch on this recruitment process when it comes to the medical paperwork and the process and how it's going to shorten the time compared to before. Because I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I've had applicants or their parents or influencers like, hey, what's taking this paperwork so long? And the only thing I can say is like, hey, I see it's at MEPS, or I see it's at battalion, or it's at brigade. I don't know what they're doing with the paperwork, but it's not just Tampa recruiting station. You got a lot of recruiting stations across this country. They're looking at people's paperwork, so you got to be patient. You know, now recruiters ain't got to worry about that because recruiter's job is already hard enough, and dealing with like people nagging you like, hey, what's the status for this, status for that? It's like now you don't have to worry about that because they're going to tell you right then and there whether you better join or not. So I appreciate you guys' support like always. I wish you guys a wonderful day. Salute. Peace.